Onefinity Firmware version 1.6.6. Onefinity Journeyman, Buildbotics Controller. Should you upgrade or not? Watch to find out. Onefinity originally released the Revolution rotary system. There was a lot of bugs in the firmware. This new version 1.6.6 was supposed to resolve those issues. So today I'm looking for three things. The first thing I'm looking for is that the XYZ probing has been corrected. The second thing I'm looking for is that the values for the A motor have been carried over correctly when swapping from the original system to the rotary system on the control box. So we want those values to carry over correctly so that way we don't have to go and mess with them manually. And third, I want to know if I can even get a project going on this thing. So I'm going to be running a rounding toolpath, a roughing toolpath, and a finishing toolpath on a bat that I designed using vCarve Pro. Alright, so I've just gone ahead and ran the update using a USB stick. You can go out on Onefinity's website and download that firmware and drop it on a USB stick and then run the file from the Buildbotics controller. It's pretty easy to do. Now I want to make sure my values carried over to the A motor correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and drop down here to motor 2, which is where I've configured my A axis. And I'm going to go down here to motion settings, and it looks like everything carried over the way it's supposed to. Micro steps 16, max velocity 6.696, max accel 500, max jerk 1000, step angle 0.257, and travel per revolution is 360. These are all the recommended settings that Onefinity has provided, so it looks like they've fixed that issue. Okay, so next up we're going to go ahead and probe our X, Y, and Z. Now before, we had to probe Z first before we were able to get an accurate read on X, Y, and Z. So this test, I'm going to click probe X, Y, and Z, and we'll see if it works without probing Z first. Going to go ahead and plug in my probe wires and the sensor, and then we're going to come over here to the controls and click probe rotary, and I'm just going to go straight probe X, Y, and Z. So we have a menu here. You're going to click next, and then it's going to give you some instructions and some warnings. All right, and then we'll hit next, and this is going to probe. It appears to be working. Going to go back over to the controls and push done. And it looks like it moved over to the crosshairs, but the X has still zeroed in to the left, which is really good. That means that it knows where the workpiece is. So I'm going to go ahead and hit XY origin and see where it is that we've got our XY at right now. And I've set my job to the Z height will be at the center of the axis. So this has zeroed correctly, so I would call that a success. Now the first toolpath that I have today is a rounding toolpath, and I've set that up from the center of the workpiece. So my x-axis states that it's under right now, and that's just because we've zeroed it to the left side of the workpiece when we need to zero it to the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and zero my x and y to the dead center of this piece. I'm just going to do this part manually. I'm not going to mess with the Z height at all because that's already been zeroed to the center. So I'm just going to zero x and y to the middle of this workpiece. Dead center. So I went over here and clicked on the X and Y, and now as you can see my profile or my rounding toolpath is all good to go. So the next thing to do is to hook up dust control, and then we are going to start with the rounding toolpath. After that we'll do roughing and finishing. So far the process is going pretty well. I would definitely say that we have come a long way from the original release of this Onefinity Revolution here. So I'm going to go ahead and get the job going and we'll see how it runs. So I started the program and something was a little off right away. I actually caught myself using the wrong post processor again. So if you're using vCarve Pro, it's already set up in there. You're only going to see Onefinity rotary in millimeters. They don't have one out for inches. So far so good. Rounding toolpath worked out really well. No issues so far. Next up, I've got to reset my Z to the surface of the material because my roughing toolpath and my finishing toolpath are both set to the surface. So if I leave the Z where it's at right now, it's going to plunge in and burn everything and destroy everything. So I'm going to go ahead and reset that real quick and then we'll jump into the roughing. This is pretty easy. I'm just going to set the tip of the bit onto the surface and reset 0. Reset the Z. Wow, so that was not supposed to happen. I've accidentally hit go on the toolpath that I had saved in there that was the wrong post processor. So I went ahead and deleted that one, went back, got the correct one in there, and let's try this again. So I think it's safe to say that 1.6.6 fixed all of the initial issues that I had with the Revolution. As you saw in the video, everything was working smoothly and more efficiently than it was before. This back came out awesome, and I even feel like my house is even going to be a little bit more safe with this around. So final word for the video, go ahead and update to 1.6.6. If you haven't already, I highly recommend it. Don't wait on this. This is a lot better than it was when I first received the Revolution. If you like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below on what you thought about today's carve.